Welcome to the final lesson of the course. We've found the market equilibrium and seen how it corrects itself. Now we ask the most useful question of all. What happens to that equilibrium when something in the world changes and a whole curve shifts? Up to now, we kept the demand and supply curves fixed and only let the price slide along them. In this lesson, the curves themselves get up and move, and we watch the equilibrium move with them. The technique has a name: comparative statics. We simply compare the old equilibrium with the new equilibrium after a shift. We're not tracking every twist of the adjustment. We just ask, in the end, which way did price and quantity move? The method is always the same 3 steps. First, decide which curve shifts, demand or supply. Second, decide which direction it shifts, right or left. Third, read off the new crossing point as the new equilibrium. And throughout, we'll keep the original curve and the original equilibrium drawn faintly, right next to the new one. Seeing the before and the after side by side makes the change unmistakable. Start with case 1. Demand shifts to the right. Imagine buyers' incomes rise, and coffee is a normal good. People want more coffee at every price, so the demand curve moves out to the right. Here it is. The supply curve stays put. The faded curve is the original demand, and the solid one is the new, higher demand. The equilibrium slides up the supply curve from the faded point, E1, to the new point, E2. The result: both price and quantity rise. With more buyers chasing the same supply, they bid the price up, and at that higher price sellers produce more, so the quantity traded rises too. Demand up means price up and quantity up. Now case 2, demand shifts to the left. Suppose tea, a substitute for coffee, becomes much cheaper. Some coffee drinkers switch to tea, so the demand for coffee falls at every price, and the curve moves left. On the graph, the new demand curve sits inside the faded original. The equilibrium slides down the supply curve, from E1 to a lower E2, to the left and down. The result: both price and quantity fall. With fewer buyers, the price is bid down, and less coffee is traded. Demand down means price down and quantity down. So notice the demand pattern. A shift in demand moves price and quantity in the same direction. Demand up, both rise. Demand down, both fall. They always travel together. Now to the supply side. Case 3, supply shifts to the right. A better roasting technology lowers producers' costs, so they're willing to supply more coffee at every price. The supply curve moves out to the right. Here, demand stays put. The faded curve is the original supply, the solid one the new, larger supply. The equilibrium slides down the demand curve from E1 to E2, to the right and down. The result: the price falls but the quantity rises. With more coffee available, sellers compete and the price drops, and at that lower price buyers happily take a larger quantity. Supply up means price down, quantity up. In case 4, supply shifts to the left. A frost destroys part of the coffee harvest, so producers can supply less at every price. The supply curve moves in, to the left. On the graph, the new supply curve sits inside the faded original. The equilibrium slides up the demand curve, from E1 to a higher E2, to the left and up. The result: the price rises but the quantity falls. With less coffee around, the price gets bid up, and buyers end up with less of it. Supply down means price up, quantity down. So here's the supply pattern, and it's the mirror image of demand. A shift in supply moves price and quantity in opposite directions. One goes up while the other goes down. Let's gather all 4 cases into one table. Demand right, price up, quantity up. Demand left, price down, quantity down. Supply right, price down, quantity up. Supply left, price up, quantity down. And here's the master pattern that ties it together. When demand shifts, price and quantity move together in the same direction. When supply shifts, price and quantity move oppositely. Remember just that, and you can reconstruct the whole table. Let's practice. Worked example 1. A frost destroys much of the coffee harvest. Which curve, which way? Supply shifts left. So the price rises and the quantity falls. That's the supply left case. Worked example 2. A health study comes out praising coffee, and demand surges. Demand shifts right, so price rises and quantity rises. Demand and quantity move together, both up. Worked example 3. Tea, a substitute, becomes much cheaper. That pulls buyers away from coffee, so coffee's demand shifts left. Price falls and quantity falls, both down. Worked example 4. A new roasting machine cuts production costs. That's a supply increase, a rightward shift. So the price falls, but the quantity rises. The classic supply-up result: cheaper and more abundant. Now a subtler situation. What if both curves shift at the same time? Then one of the two outcomes is certain, and the other becomes ambiguous, depending on which shift is larger. For instance, suppose demand shifts right and supply also shifts right. The quantity is definitely up because both forces push it that way, but the price could rise or fall, depending on which shift is bigger. So the rule when both curves move is simple but firm. You must draw it. Sketch both shifts, and the relative size of each one decides the variable that the logic alone leaves ambiguous. For any problem at all, just ask yourself 2 questions. First, is it demand or supply that changed? Second, did that curve move right or left? Answer those 2, and the new equilibrium follows automatically. And don't fall into the classic trap of confusing a shift with a movement. A change in the good's own price is a movement along a curve. It never shifts the curve. Only outside factors, like income, costs, or tastes, shift a curve. So here is the full sequence of any market event. An outside factor shifts a curve. That creates a surplus or a shortage. The price then adjusts to clear it, and the market settles at a brand new equilibrium. Step back and look at the complete toolkit you now have. The demand and supply curves and what shifts each one. The equilibrium where they cross. The surpluses and shortages that restore it. And comparative statics to handle any change. Let's summarize. Demand right gives price up, quantity up. Demand left gives both down. Supply right gives price down, quantity up. Supply left gives price up, quantity down. Demand shifts move price and quantity together. Supply shifts move them apart. And when both shift, one result is ambiguous, so you draw it. The one line to remember: demand shifts move price and quantity together, while supply shifts move them apart. And take a moment to see how far you've come. Production and costs, the supply curve, the labor market, demand, elasticity, and equilibrium. Together, these are the foundations of microeconomics, and you've now built every one of them. Where does it lead next? Straight into government intervention, taxes, subsidies, price ceilings, and price floors. And every one of those is analyzed with exactly the demand and supply tools you've just mastered. Well done. You can now read almost any simple market, find its equilibrium, and predict how that equilibrium moves when the world changes. That's the core skill of microeconomics, and it's yours. If this course helped you, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and share it with someone who's studying economics. And to keep getting extra materials, join our members club, where you'll find the full quiz library, fully worked solutions, and more practice questions. Thanks so much for taking the course, and I'll see you in the next one.